Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Groove podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington. And today we had a couple, different movies and series that we want to review today. The first one we're going to take a look at is this. I think this may be the first review we are doing from a film that was done by a totally different streaming platform, which is Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was this movie supposed to be in the theater and then they're just like, screw it, Hulu bought it? Like, what would happen here? I don't know the story.
I don't know, but okay, Boss Level, Hulu, very interesting film. This is like a time loop sort of film, isn't it?
Yeah, this is like Palm Springs or Groundhog Day. That's the time loop thing. You started over at the beginning of your day type movie.
So this is okay. Frank Grillo, which I'm a big fan of. It also had Mel Gibson. It also had Michelle Yeoh again. Mm-hmm. Naomi Watts, pretty dope. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is a pretty cool film. Like I said, I like to call it a time loopy film.
Yeah, but I was surprised at how many big actors were in this movie. I definitely think this was supposed to go to the theater. And like,
you mean to tell me you think that?
It's too many big actors and actresses for that to be like, this is just for streaming.
I was going to say, how much, Mel Gibson, man, he's like, you got to pay this guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I definitely feel this is the type of movie that I think it got stuck in release hell.
Yeah.
Because there's too many big actors and actresses in this to just have it from the jump to be only for streaming.
Yeah.
Unless it was like on Amazon, I was like, okay. But for it to be on Hulu, I don't think Hulu would intentionally do that from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know the background on that. But everybody had like a weird year last year. So I think maybe it was possibly supposed to release and then it kind of got pushed back.
Mm-hmm. This movie, the budget for this movie was $45 million. It was shot in Atlanta, Georgia. What do you think about that? You think that's pretty on point? $45 million?
Yeah, I think for special effects and stuff, there's some pretty good special effects. They had car chase scenes and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I see, like we talked about it last week, but when the budget is low, it's indoors. Mm-hmm. It's all indoors, and they can reset everything. Not a big deal. When they got a little bit of bread, they can do a car chase. Some explosions.
IMDb rating is 6.8. That is 49,000 people have rated this thus far. You think? I
think that's low. That's very low.
Okay, so like I said, I thought about it. I kept saying a time loop, but I kept saying like time loopy because this is a loopy film, but I really enjoyed it. Do you want to give like a brief overview of it? Then we can get into the giggles.
Okay, so basically this guy wakes up and he's being attacked by assassins and he doesn't know why. And so every time he gets killed, he resets and starts back at the beginning in his bed with some guy with a knife trying to stab him. So throughout the movie, he gets further and further ahead and figures out clues and he keeps his memory so he knows how many times this has happened. Mm-hmm. He's like 113 times or whatever. Yeah. And then he keeps remembering everything and he gets further and further and finally solves this riddle for what happened with his life, why this is happening. Mm-hmm. But that's just a basic overall of what it is. Yeah. It's a Groundhog Day thing. Every time he dies, starts over from the beginning.
Right.
And it's fun action sequences, and I like the cast a lot. The cast was fun.
This was a sleeper, man. Like I said, I really Absolutely. I enjoyed this flick. It was really fun. It was funny. It was interesting. There was some really cool ideas, and the storyline was really cool. And again, Mel Gibson, Frank Grillo, Naomi Watts, Michelle Yeoh. I mean, this is like a rock
Gibson
star
killed
cat.
It. He was
Mel
really
Gibson
good.
Killed it, right? I haven't seen him in a while, but he killed it.
Yeah.
But okay, so yeah, it starts off, and the other thing about this flick is this. It starts off and it just keeps going.
Yeah, it just goes. There's no time off. It just
There's no
from the
time off of
beginning it
this
just
joint.
goes. We'll get
He
to
was,
spoilers in a second.
yeah, well, like he was ex-military, right, or ex
Yeah,
something. Okay.
yeah. And I guess so. He had a strange marriage with the
Mm,
Naomi Watts character. It was
yeah.
Gemma.
Who's a
Yeah. So she's
she
a
is some sort of a
physicist,
biochemist or
scientist,
physicist or something like that. Jenna
rocket
Wells.
scientist.
Gemma Wells. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's she's okay, so and she's working on this time machine, which would be a weapon for, whichever organization, military organization that is.
Was it initially planned to be a time machine? Is that what they're planning to do, or they just discover like, oh, we can control time with this thing?
I think they discovered that, hey, we can do some shystiness with this machine, so let's go with it. Let's use this for
Yeah.
a totally different purpose.
Mhm.
So the whole loop started off with it started off by Gemma knowing that they may kill her, or they're using this for
Yeah,
nefarious purposes,
she was trying to
right?
protect herself
Right,
with it. And yeah, that's started she put her husband's DNA into the machine, and that
right.
started the loop.
Which was Frank Grillo. His name is Roy Pulver. But yeah, so that's and that's how the whole loop, the time
Mhm.
loop sort of sequence kept running. He was smart enough to know that to just grab a little bit of information from each time he had to like go through the loop again. And at some point he figured out that, hey, he actually has the ability to possibly even stop this loop. But so that Gemma also
Mhm.
said, you know what, if anyone can stop this, it would be him. But I just have to put him through this loop so he can come to the
Mhm.
realization that
Yeah,
this is what you need to do to stop it. That's a pretty
yeah.
interesting story plot, right? That's kind of
Yeah,
a
that's a
cool
lot of
plot.
faith, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
kind
lot
of a
of
cool
faith.
plot. And like I said, it started off and it just kept going. It kept going. There was nothing. You couldn't stop this film.
Do you like time movies like this, like that have loops or whatever?
I don't, but
Did
I
you see
really like this one.
there's a movie called Palm Springs that came out I think last year. It was
Mhm,
on Netflix, and it's a similar type thing with the loop, and they had a different take on it. There's like some kind of portal that caused it or whatever, but
mhm,
it's an interesting thing. I like these kind of stories because you have to come up with ways to keep your interest through it.
yeah,
Because if you keep doing the same thing over, it's going to get boring very quickly,
right, right,
and you
right.
need to reset everything and make it perfect again. And you got to go through it so. You have to be very technical when you're making a movie like this to
Yeah,
make
that's
it
true.
work,
Mhm,
and you got to be on top of everything. Like things can't be out of place. So if you have stuff in the room, it's got to be perfectly placed. It's very complicated. So
yeah.
I was looking out for stuff that was
No Easter eggs.
inaccuracies. Yeah, for the most part, they did a pretty good job. Like a lot of the CGI and stuff like that too. But like
Yeah.
for the most part, they did a pretty good job. And I think the way they did it was they got him out of the exact same situation, so it
Mhm,
wasn't the exact same thing each time. So there could be variations when you do the loop. Because
right.
if you're doing it, the first 10 minutes of the loop is all the same, like that's gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna be obvious that, oh wait,
Mhm,
this is missing, this base is out of place, whatever. But like overall, these kind of stories, if you don't do it right, it gets very, very boring quickly. But this wasn't that kind of movie.
yeah.
This was like it was action and heartfelt. Like I appreciate the story with his son. Like I liked it.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I thought it was a good fun. It's definitely a action guy movie though. It's not
Yeah.
a not a
It's
chick flick.
Yeah, and it's so weird because Hulu isn't known for putting out original stuff like this.
Mm.
It's mostly comedies and just dramas
Yeah,
and
yeah.
things of that nature. It's nothing really like this. Yeah, I'm not a. I haven't. I can't remember or think of like any serious hardcore time loop flick I sort of watched, years ago, but obviously some of the sci-fi stuff I watch, like I love Stargate. That's all about, using time travel, anything that has to do with Star Trek or Star Wars is time travel as well. But this was done really well, like you said, it's difficult to make a time loop film and, hit it really nice on the head. They did a really good job with that.
I'll say
Very
this:
impressed with
the
this flick.
choreography and action stuff was solid. It was A1. I
It,
especially like the
mhm.
who's the girl that had the sword. Uh, and she used to make that. She had that name Guan Yin or something like that.
Yes.
I am Guan Yin and I did this or whatever.
Right. Salima Low. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
she was
and
good.
then yeah.
Everybody was good. All the bad guys were good. Everybody was good. It
And
was
then,
solid from top
in
to
order
bottom.
for him to get through that hump, he went back in time and was taught how to use a sword, but
Yeah,
died every time, right?
I
So
love the
again,
fact
that
that
made
they did
sense.
when they did the time jump with him, and he's like, okay, I don't know anything about a sword. You got to teach me. And each time he died, he came back. I know a little bit about swords.
Right.
This is not my first time. I just want to get better with swords. Like you can see the progression as he got better and better.
Yeah.
Like, but it was fun. It was all around fun movie. This is a heavy recommend for me.
Let me ask you this here. Like we always talk about like throwing the whiteboard, the check boxes out the window.
Mhm.
Do you think with this movie they did that in terms of a time loop movie?
Yeah, because it
I think
wasn't.
so too.
It, you could tell that this movie was okay. We don't have an agenda. We're not worried about trying to please everybody else. We just want to make a good, fun movie,
Yeah.
and whatever else be damned. We don't
Mhm.
care. We're just trying to make a good, fun movie. And I wish this was in the theater so I could give it more money. I'm probably gonna buy like the Blu-ray or whatever whenever it comes out, just to support it because I
Right.
I appreciate stuff like this.
Yeah.
When you say, "Hey, I have no agenda. I'm just gonna make a fun movie," YOLO. Like I'm here for it. I'm gonna buy that many Blu-rays, but I'm gonna buy this one when I can, just because.
You know, and just the fact that in order for when he realized that okay, I need to do this to
Mm,
get through this specific time or this specific loop in the time loop, right? So he's
mhm,
like, okay, I need to learn how to use a sword so I can fight this woman, or
mhm,
well, wait a minute, I've noticed that if I'm underground, they can't track me,
mhm.
and then well, how are they tracking me, right?
Yeah,
So
it was a I think that it was really good the way
mhm,
he discovered like it's a natural way like somebody
yeah,
would think about these things
right,
rather than like because a lot of movies they dumb it down for you and it's like here you go here's the thing
yeah,
and like
mhm,
it was a natural way like you would think about it like that like he if he was in the army or special force or whatever he would think about stuff like that like
yeah,
are they tracking me okay, I can't. I tried using a gun trying to defeat the sword lady. It doesn't work out. All right, I got to get better with swords, or I got to be able to defend myself like this. Like, and then even the way he ended the movie, he didn't do the same route that he has been doing this entire time. Like, he went a
right,
different way because, like,
mhm,
you had to adjust. And I like the concept of adjusting in movies because a lot of times, especially today with a lot of movies, everybody's just awesome out the gate. There's no learning process
yeah,
there's no losses on their end.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a difficult journey. They just hand them stuff. Did you watch the last Star Wars movies?
Yeah,
The
oh yeah,
last three?
I'm all
Yeah.
Star Wars.
That was it was just handed to you. Everything's good. Don't no growth here.
Yeah,
It was just straightforward. And this is a movie where you could tell like the first time, a couple times he died, he sucked at this thing,
yeah,
and he just got gradually better. He like, I got to duck here, I got to move around, I got to stand behind this wall when the helicopter comes. Like you can tell like he's getting better, but like it was a gradual process, and he improved over in time, which made you, because you're growing with him when you're watching the movie.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's almost like an
So
interactive experience, right?
yeah, you were invested
Hmm.
in him getting better at this thing, so you
Right.
could further in the story.
Hmm.
So it's a brilliant way to tell a story as a narrative, because you want to see more. Just
Hmm.
naturally, you want to see
Yeah.
more. You want to see where it goes, what else is happening around the world. Because like he did, so he did the bus. He hopped off the building into the dump truck.
Right.
He got the car,
Right.
and then he had to beat the bus,
He had
and
to,
he had
but
to
he
get rid
figured
of the
that out
lady.
too. Right. He had
Yeah,
to
he
get rid of
had
the
to get rid of the
lady.
lady. It was
Yeah.
Cam or whatever her name was.
Hmm.
He had to get rid of her. Then he got to go to the diner, and he at the diner, he just slowly worked his way over to the company, and
Right.
like I love the progression, but
Yeah.
overall, like just the fact that it was just a fun movie,
Yeah.
and I miss that.
Hmm.
There's so many movies I watch now. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like if I'm gonna turn my brain off, let me turn my brain off. But like, just I want fun. I need more fun.
You make a very good point that every step of the way he had to overcome something. But in order
Mm-hmm.
to overcome that specific thing, he picked it up in the previous loop. So when he
Yeah.
came back to the next loop, he was like, okay, this is how I need to overcome this one specific thing. So it's almost like all of these steps that just came at him, he had to figure out. Like you said, he sort of grew with the movie or with the plot to figure out like this is the final place you need to be in, but he had to overcome all of these obstacles to do so, which was really cool. Like for instance, like when he thought to himself like I think I'm being
Mm-hmm.
tracked, and he was like, oh wait a minute, there's a geek at the diner, so he was like, I'll get
Mm-hmm.
to him next time. So he got killed.
Yeah,
Sometimes he even started killing himself because he was like, oh, I got to, I already know what's going
yeah,
on, I need to
yeah.
like kill myself so I can go back, right? So he went to the to the geek at the diner. He was like, how could someone track me, and figured out that they put a tracking
It's the
device
truth.
in his tooth,
Yeah.
and he a couple times he went back into the loop, took the tooth out, bleeding, crazy. It was, again, man, this was a surprisingly fun
Mm-hmm.
movie for me because, again, for me, Hulu isn't really known for
No, not at all.
you know great sort of action thrillers and loops and things like that. I mean, they get the
Mm-hmm.
drama down, they get the comedy down, but this was a surprising movie for me. I really enjoyed this. What do you think? What did you give this movie? I mean, what was your rating? This is boss level Hulu. What do you think about this? This was a time loop movie.
If I was gonna rate it just off of action alone, it would be
Mm-hmm.
a solid 8. But I really loved the story. I like the progression with his family. Like he started off like he was in bed with another girl at the beginning of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and like he's just slowly like, oh wait, I love my wife still, and he had feelings for her, whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
he developed his relationship with his son, even though he had to start over from the beginning, which
Right.
I thought was that hurt. That I was like that was kind of dark,
Yeah.
and I felt really bad for him there because he got to start over from he got to gain his trust again.
Yeah.
Then he had to go tell the story, and then you got to
Mm-hmm.
he's just for a long time in the movie he
Mm-hmm.
was just ending his day with his son. There's something that he should have been doing all along.
Right.
So the progression for him, the character development is great,
Yeah.
but like overall, I would say 8.5 for me out of this
Yeah.
movie. I
Not to
loved it a lot.
mention, his son, and then like at the end of each loop, the world would be destroyed
Yeah,
because
the
of this
world would end.
time
He has to
machine,
start over from
right?
scratch. Yeah.
I'm going to also give this, I was between an 8.5 and a 9 because this was a really good movie. I like this movie.
Great movie.
Yeah, this was a great movie. Again, this is I'm a fan of like Mel Gibson. Say what you want to about him, but he's a rock star. He knows what he's doing. Frank
Yeah.
Grillo, Naomi Watts, Michelle Yeoh, all rock stars. Really good cast. Um, the storyline never veered far from what it really was, and
Mhm.
once the movie started, they sort of got right into it. Like, hey, this is a time loop movie.
Yeah.
And we're going to take this
Yeah.
guy to, through over 170 time loops so he can figure out what it is he needs to do. And each time loop was some sort of a breadcrumb that he had to figure out, but he had to kill himself or get killed to go to the next time loop to figure something else out. Very innovative, very cool movie. Again, I gave it an 8.5. I'm not quite sure what IMDb is talking about when they gave it a
Yeah, I
6.8.
don't know where they got it
This was a
from.
really good movie. I'm not
Solid.
sure. I'm not like a movie theater person like you, but you would think that this would do well in the theaters.
Yeah, I think it would
Mm-hmm.
do well. Well, maybe. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can't tell. Like Free Guy came out,
Mm-hmm.
and that's got a lot of big stars in there, and I think it's doing okay. But like you have to gauge it based on pandemic, pre and post.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pre, I think it would do okay, like
Mm-hmm.
50-60 million range. I think it would do okay. Post, I don't know, maybe 20s to 30s, but there's not a lot of good competition out right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next big movie after Shang-Chi or whatever is Dune.
Yeah.
That's like the next biggest movie that's going to be out for a while. So like there wasn't a lot of competition. So a movie like this, I think today with all this craziness going on in the world, I think
Mm-hmm.
it probably would have done okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that with Boss Level, which is a Hulu film, I think it would have done a lot better on a platform like a Netflix or even a
Yeah.
Amazon.
I don't yeah, for sure. It would have done a lot better
Yeah.
on Netflix or whatever. Yeah.
It's just a larger, user base, subscriber base.
Mhm.
Um, and you
And they
can
got the
you can
budget to promote it
and they
too.
have the budget to promote it. Even though 45 million was a pretty nice budget for this film, which was really in one place, right? One or two places, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
There's a lot of studio stuff and a couple car chases, so
yeah,
there's only a couple places. Yeah.
not bad. Shot
So
in Atlanta.
let me ask you something.
What's up?
What do you think of the ending? What do you think happened after he goes into the machine?
What do I? Are we suggesting
Yeah.
that this could be, a sequel coming up or something?
I don't know. I don't know. But like what's your personal feeling about what happens when he goes into the machine?
He had to go into the machine to stop the process of the world being destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they left it at that. So, okay, I'm going to say this. If there will be a sequel, that
Mhm.
sequel needs to be on Netflix or Amazon.
Okay.
Hulu just doesn't have the eyes, but I'm okay with how they left it, the movie, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I was
I
so
don't
impressed with what the movie was all about and how the movie
Mhm.
moved from start to end. So even though that was sort of a cliffhanger, I'm
Mhm.
okay with that sort of ending because I really enjoyed all of the movie.
Yeah, I don't think you
Mhm.
need it necessarily, but I was kind of curious because I think he probably
Mhm.
disintegrated and just stopped it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's like exist anymore, but I don't know. Who say they can literally do whatever they want with it.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't mind seeing another movie with this world, but you don't
Mhm.
need to.
Yeah. You'd
Like
have to figure out like what okay, so if there was
it's
a
good as it.
sequel, what is he doing? Like, I mean, does the time machine now work and is doing good and then there are villains trying to get the software or whatever
But
like that?
you have to have
So
a sinister larger company that's out to
right,
get him or whatever. Like
uh-huh.
if that was a bigger company or bigger
Yeah.
whatever,
Mhm.
he was working for somebody else. Like
True.
you always got to do that. That's the basics. That script writes itself, right?
Yeah,
But
that's pretty cool.
yeah, no, I liked it a lot, but I was very curious. Some people were like, he disintegrated. Some people were like, no, he walked out of the machine, went to reset, and everything's good there, and now
Yeah.
he's with his family. I don't know. It could go either way, and I like that it was open ended like that because you don't need to hold everybody's hand when you're watching these kind of movies. Like
Right.
let their imagination take over like you used to.
Right. And if they didn't even come out with the sequel, I would be fine with that because again, like
Yeah,
you said, because the movie was so great, the way the movie ended, I'm okay with that because I got everything I needed from the movie. So the
Yeah.
way it ended, I'm fine with that. Very cool movie. That is Boss Level on Hulu. You can check that out on Hulu. And we both gave it an 8.5. How about that?
It's a high recommend.
High recommend. Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.
All right.